Doghouse Cup Series is proud to be sponsored by Shoney's. Shoney's is today's all-American kitchen, open daily for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Shoney's guests can count on quality, delicious food along with warm, friendly service. Stop by one of the West Virginia locations to try their freshly prepared legendary breakfast bar, and don't forget to take home a whole strawberry pie. Shoney's, delicious food and friendly service since 1947. Welcome back, everybody, here to Simtrack's broadcast, and none other than the Doghouse Racing League here on Thursday night. We head to Talladega, a very nasty track. Many drivers out here trying to see if they can dial in that last little bit on the setups on these next-gen machines to get as much speed as they absolutely can. And, man, Douglas, I appreciate you joining me here tonight and talk to me a little bit about this three-lane track that so many drivers just, need almost a stroke of luck to come out in the top three here tonight.
Well, thank you, Patrick, and let me tell you this, it is an absolute honor to be racing tonight's race here at the Talladega Superspeedway for the Doghouse Racing League. I really do appreciate it. We are here at Talladega, yes, and this is probably going to be one of the most extreme yet most exciting tracks. Why? Because we are probably going to be seeing close to three wide action almost all night, because with the size field that we have, there's definitely going to be a lot of action tonight, and it's going to be really curious to see how all these drivers are going to do, because when it comes to Talladega, everybody's got the fairest shot at winning it tonight.
Yeah, I don't know how many drivers may have that chance, seeing that Jonathan Jennings already out there in the chat is rooting on the Elite Southern Racing Team. And good luck to all the Doghouse drivers is what he's saying out there. Unfortunately, he is having to take a start and park here for tonight, which is huge, actually taking down the Elite Southern Racing Team, down one driver here tonight. But I'll tell you what, we are not short of drivers at all. Right now I'm showing over just about 35 drivers, but we'll see how many decide to take the wheel out here as we take a look at Chris Leftwich rocking around. Let's take a peek at our kind of how our race is going to be set up a little bit tonight. 66 laps, you wouldn't think that is a whole lot, but when this track is over 2.5 miles, I assure you 175 miles will take quite a little bit to get over with. 3 sets of tires will be down in the pits if these drivers decide to use them. Of course, there are no fast repairs. And a little bit of a change up here tonight, Douglas. 100% fuel limit is what they're changing it to. Kind of from your experience here, what does this entail? I mean, we got 97 degrees on the track, we got 78 in the air, but that 100% fuel limit, to me, that is the big game changer here heading into this race.
That's definitely 100% on fuel strategy. That is really going to be changing the game for a lot of these drivers. And I can tell tonight with 97-degree temperature, it's definitely going to be all about strategy because these tires are really, really going to be heating up. And not only that, with the temperature getting rised up a little bit, I think it's also because I don't know if we're going to be seeing much of drafting because I know when the track gets hotter, it becomes a lot harder to draft the cars in front of you when it comes to that sort of thing.
Okay, I know the slip and the sliding will definitely be taken into account as we're watching Kevin Thompson right now, 25th start. Andrew St. Cour, 27th start, way back. So a couple of the drivers out there, especially B-Mac, not going to be real happy to see his favorite driver starting in the back for the Twisted Axle Racing Team. A couple of drivers weren't unable to qualify. Like I said, we will double check and see how many decide to take the wheel. And I would probably guess, since you can be from dead last, I believe we saw, in the 2001 race back there with Dale Earnhardt. He came from 18th position, five or six laps left to go, and won the race. So you can be anywhere on this track, anywhere on that starting lineup, and still have a shot at it. I mean, Stephen Buonamo sitting back there in the 31st position. I mean, that's man, it's just so hard to take, and we'll probably take a little bit of a ride along with him early, in the early stages of this race, and you will see what that sea of car looks like in front of him, and that's just going to be a daunting task for him to fight along up front. But boy, we have got so many drivers out here, and you love seeing a full field. And Douglas, Talladega, that these guys, this is the track that brings it.
Definitely is, and I can certainly tell you this from me with past leagues. I actually do know what it's like to actually know what it's like to win here at Talladega because I was with a league where I ended up starting, I think it was 31st or 32nd, somewhere around that range. And of course, the only lap that I led was the very last lap of the race. So I know what it's like to start in the back of the field and work your way all the way up to first. But it's going to be really, really curious to see, especially like some of the drivers that are starting in the back. Like we see Stephen Wanamo is starting in the back. I also see, I think in the very last position, one of our regulars, Tim Henderson, he is going to be starting in dead last, it looks like. So a lot of our regulars are starting in the back, but like you said, when it comes to Talladega, you can't count anybody out.
Yeah, 32 drivers right now have taken the wheel. Tim Henderson, I think he may be fighting some electronic problems, but it looks like the pace car lights are going to go ahead and turn on and get locked and loaded here. So they're going to make one trip around this track and get going here. And hopefully we'll see, this track turn upside down. I would love to see it go green flag the entire way, but the pit strategy last time, how that went, and how it was last year is a lot more spread apart than I would have liked. Definitely seeing this pack racing out here. And Douglas, out to your point, I called that race that you ended up winning, and that was definitely awesome. You had some mic problems there, but everything's squared away. Let's go ahead and get to our starting lineup where Mike Samia is going to take that front row spot. Mike Leftwich will be starting in second, next in front of Chase Harden and Gary Clune for our top four drivers. Moving on to row number 3 will be Justin Barkley. Colton Curry will be sixth, and Chris Leftwich starting seventh next to Daniel Wilkerson. Not too bad of a start for him here tonight. Let's see if he can keep that roll on. Jacob Reeves, he was fastest during practice, not so much during qualifying, ninth for him. Christopher Simon will be 10th, Tyler Millette 11th, and Justin McMahon rounding out our top 12. You know what, Douglas? Go ahead and take it away, man. We got full field here tonight.
Hey, thank you. Starting at spot number 13 will be Bill Gentry. Spot number 14 will be Hunter Simpson. 15th will be Gary Armijo. And spot number 16 will be Eddie Rivers. Starting at spot number 17 will be Kevin Powell. Then starting at spot number 18, we got Peyton Harden. Spot number 19 will be Michael Dow. And then rounding out the top 20 will be Nicholas Atwood. Starting in spot number 21 will be Richard Leclerc. Ricky Williams will be in spot number 22. Spot number 23 will be Frank Hughes Jr. And then starting in spot number 24, looks like will be Daniel Paulus Jr. Starting at spot number 25 will be Kevin Thompson. Spot number 26 will be Dominic Hughes. Andrew St. Cour. Very surprising to be seeing him back in spot number 27, but he's definitely going to be a driver to watch. Spot number 28 will be Adam Gardner. Duke Davis will be starting in spot number 29. 30th will be Michael Giberson. Spot number 31 will be Stephen Buonamo. Connor Darnell will be starting in spot number 32. And rounding out the field in spot number 33 will be Tim Henderson.
All righty, great job getting through all of that as we are about to go green here in just a moment. Green flag is out and away we go. All the drivers have made it behind the wheel, 33 of them to be exact. And let's go ahead and get this one underway. Drivers already diving into turn one here as we take a look from the spotter tower. A little bit of shifting here already here in the back, looking to see if a little bit of couple of drivers there around that 27. Justin McMahon already making a couple of moves inside line for him. But you've got to admit, once these drivers start moving around and taking that shift down, these first couple of turns here, no one is safe. I mean, it's good to be out front. It's good to have that nice fresh air. But really, you've got to find your teammates. You've got to find the guys you work with very well and push your way toward the front. As we can tell, a couple of drivers already doing so. Taking a look at Jacob Reeves, who's moved up 4 positions in the McConey Entertainment. Chevrolet already up to 5th, so not too bad here. Still led by Chevrolet. 2 Toyotas follow him with Chase Harden and Justin Barkley to finish off lap 1.
We will. And I also want to actually notice, Patrick, one driver I've actually been keeping an eye on for the whole entire lap was Andrew St. Cyr in the 12. It looks like he is going to be playing the safe card for this part of the race. He is dropping to the back of the field, so a couple of our regulars will probably be seeing go to the back of the field just playing it safe, because you never know when the big one's going to strike here at Talladega.
Oh, absolutely. And you hope you're not going so fast that you can't avoid it. But already 2 drivers from the Twisted Axle Racing team sitting 31st and 33rd. Now you've got to start questioning, where's that third wheel out there? Gary Clune is sitting back here in that 8th position. He's safe for now, I would, but the outside line is very, very tough. So if he can stay out there, find himself around a lot of friends and be able to make the moves that he needs to, he'll be actually in a really good spot. But I actually agree here with Gary Clune. I would want to be kind of top 10. Top 10's a real nice, safe spot. It's when you get 11th through 25th that things start getting really shifty out there. Guys starting to have a panic time, but it looks like we're already 3 wide back here, and I think Daniel Paulus might actually be on the outside of him. We are under caution here, I guarantee that, as we got drivers spinning out here in the back. Christopher Simon looks like he took a massive hit here, along with the number 5 of Hunter Simpson. Big-time drivers right now mixed up in this one, and that's going to be a nasty one to start this race.
Yeah, viewing the replay right now, it actually looks like there was a little bit of a checkup happening in the front of the field. It looks like Christopher Simon was the main victim of that, as it looks like he was checking up, but I think he got hit from behind, and it looks like that's the 5 car of Hunter Simpson that may have gotten into the back of Simon.
Yeah, Simpson got into Simon. Simon then pushed Wilkerson around, and boy, those three guys kind of got mashed up on that. Give it to Christopher Simon, trying to avoid as many cars as he can. A couple of drivers just unable to get out of there. I'm trying to figure out who the one car was that spun way out and slammed into the inside wall there, as it was not a fun ride for that driver. Trying to see where he is, and I'm hoping that wasn't Hunter Simpson, and it may ruin his night here. Taking another look at it, kind of from this angle. Hunter Simpson here. It looks like somebody gets rear-ended right there on the bottom. Right there near that 78 machine. Boy, he took a hard lick into that wall.
Oh yeah, I was viewing the 78, and it looks like someone went speeding past him right in the inside. I think that was the 85 of Duke Davis.
Ah, there we go. There's the number. There he is. Yep. That's what I needed. Oof. Remember, no fast repairs here, so hopefully he hasn't broken the toe link. Right now, already drivers down pit road. Stephen Buonamo is down pit. The number 22 machine. And I hope Daniel Wilkerson is able to survive. I think he's still limping it back to get back down pit road here. Wow. Boy, a little mix-up, little mishap, but, bumping back and forth and trying to drive and make it down, make it down some solid places. You know, I would question, you know, when we're working on the bump draft, Douglas, what is the key thing not to do during the bump draft?
Well, I can tell you the main key thing. Number one, when it comes to bump drafting, you can't slam somebody. That's probably the one mistake that people thinks is that they could just go full throttle and mash the guy into the back bumper. It doesn't work like that. Normally, what you got to do is that you got to like feather the throttle, just take it easy, just get on the guy's back bumper where you're just barely getting on him, and then you can go full throttle when you're on the draft. But just slamming the guy, it's gonna cause a whole bunch of mess if you do that.
And you can't slide across his rear bumper. You've seen that many a times. You know, pushing's one thing, but hitting them and then sliding to the side because you've got too much speed, that'll destroy anybody's race here. You know, a couple of drivers really shuffling around here. Colt Curry. I actually want to kind of give him a little bit of a shout out. He's going to hate this. Number 629 Toyota has dropped 22 positions, sitting back in 28th. Right now, spending an extended amount of time down pit road. Is the number 78 of Daniel Wilkerson, working his way out now. 38-second pit stall time. Christopher Simon in the number 27. Looks like his night is going to be cut short here, but he's trying his best to get back out onto the track. But Duke Davis was able to save his machine, and he's moving his way out of pit now. Wow.
Like also another car that's down on pit road is Steven Buonamo in the 22. Looks like he's taken a good extensive amount of time down pit road.
Yeah, Buonamo down there over 3 minutes and 15 seconds, now sitting in that pit stall, unable to get that thing refired and back onto the track. A couple more drivers working back down pit road again. Kevin Thompson, Andrew St. Cour, and Adam Gardner. Yeah, a little splash of fuel and go here might actually be a good call. I like the thought. Come down and give it another touch. But from drivers 18th on up have not pit. All these other guys that come down for that extra splash of fuel or are trying to get that car back in one piece. But Jacob Reeves, fastest during practice, sitting in the front row now, so pace car lights are out. Jacob Reeves and Chase Harden will be starting side by side. Tyler Mollett up where he likes to belong in the front, in the second row. He'll be starting third and fourth next to Justin Barkley. Bill Gentry next to Justin McMahon. Gary Armijo next to Kevin Powell. And Mike Samia, who was our race leader, starting on the pole, will be starting down in ninth next to Chris Leftwich. But really, that's not anything to kind of take away from the drivers out here. There are plenty of areas that they can go. They're going to shuffle all the way back. I mean, you can go from the lead to 20th, and 4 laps later, you're back in the top 3 again. So it's all that matters is the last lap. And Douglas, you know a whole lot about that.
Yes, I most certainly do. A couple people remember that last lap pass. That's certainly something that I definitely won't forget.
It definitely makes it heartbreaking for the rest of the drivers who have been leading it most of the rest of the time. But
yeah,
definitely the league you were running in, man. It was a war of attrition there all the way to the end. Alrighty, pace car lights are off. Barney's getting ready for this one. Couple of drivers trying to figure out where they belong in this run. Jacob Reeves, he's going to be the sitting duck here. The key is not to take the restart too soon. He gets strung out there, everybody's going to sling right past him, and he'll be the sitting duck here. Waiting for Barney.
Most definitely.
Green flag is out. Gets a good launch here. Looks like everybody pretty evened up, but Tyler Mollett at least able to stay with him here. Keep his head on a swivel. And now the inside line, followed by Jacob Reeves, Tyler Mollett, and Justin McMahon. 1, 2, and 3. Each one of these guys has moved up at least 8 positions here in the race. Gary Armijo has moved up 11, sitting 4th. And that inside line still trucking along. Remember I said Mike Samia there, teetering on just on the edge of the top 10, is now up to 5th. 1 turn here. I mean, this is impressive. Before he can make half a lap, he's already been able to sling up about 4 positions.
As of right now, don't be surprised if you actually see a lot of these drivers go single file for like this first half of the race, because it's way too early to get like high into racing action, as you guys actually seen in like actual NASCAR races. That
oh boy.
guess I spoke too soon.
Yeah, I
Caution
see
is out.
Daniel Paulus sliding through the infield here. That wasn't good. I think Tim Henderson might have been caught up in that one as well, number 4. Yikes. Uh-oh. I think 615's having trouble getting fired off here. There we go. What in the world? Don't tell me Christopher Simon got caught in it again. All right. We're going to have to find out what happened here. No doubt. All right, taking a look at it from the top end. Daniel Paulus looks like he's set. Oh, wow. Yeah, it looked like a miss. I think that was Michael Dow that came down. Yeah, it didn't seem like Paulus's fault. You know, he had the run, and the guy moved up. So that means he forfeits the lane, creates that aerodynamic bubble, and sucks him, you know, into that gap. And I think he wanted that back, and that was not going to happen.
The 50 car looked like he definitely wasn't clear. I think he came down way too late.
That's where he catches. Good Lord. 15. I was gonna say, I think even the 61 got it. Frank Hughes, he didn't even see it happen. Hit him just right there on the back. Boy, that is ugly. Well, hopefully this doesn't end up in a slew of cautions. I know we have a bunch of new drivers, and this kind of thing does happen. You know, guys kind of trying to get a feel out. Drivers that are not used to driving around. Things like this may or may not happen. Right now, I'm still showing the top 13 have yet to pit. Gary Kloon working his way down. He'll be the first one down pit road. Hunter Simpson, Frank Hughes, Eddie Rivers, Colt Curry, Peyton Harden, Nicholas Atwood, Ricky Williams, and everybody else following behind them. Looks like Christopher Simon might not be. He's going to try to hang out there and see if I can try to get at least one of his laps back here. Should get the lucky dog to pass on through, and that's going to be really good here for Christopher Simon. I'm sure he would like to get back on the lead lap here eventually during this race, but Douglas, you know, we're at the second caution, man. Haven't made it 10 laps. Talk to me a little bit about, you know, as a driver and kind of race control sitting up in the tower. You know, what's the next step?
Next step is just patience and everything. I mean, you gotta just, when it comes to Talladega, you gotta keep patience, because it's gonna come back to haunt you if you don't just be patient, let the race come to you, and then just work your way to the top. I mean, these cars right here, they're not built like the Gen 6 cars that we've seen in the back, where you can just go 200 miles an hour and go. Because, I mean, yeah, these cars are built stiff to where they won't get as much damage. But the thing is, the parts on these cars are very, very sensitive. One of the most sensitive areas of these cars is the toe link. And if you break that toe link, you might as well consider your night done, because you ain't getting that thing fixed if it breaks.
Yeah, I've seen some drivers, repair can be somewhere between 8.5 minutes up all the way positive of 16 minutes sitting down in that pit box when the driver's fastest laps are getting around about that 49 to 50 second mark. You can be, your race is over. I mean, I was going to say, there's a way to resurrect your race, but not unless, you're Superman and you can fly around this track without any traffic or the help of the draft. But as much as these cars are getting damaged here, Douglas, the draft being so important, how does a driver, is it important to fix as much damage as you can here? So that way, when you need to draft, your car is doing exactly what it needs to be doing aerodynamically to keep up with the rest of the pack.
I mean, most definitely. I mean, there, like you said, there's a couple of things on this car that you can adjust if you wish to, but there's really not much you can do to it aerodynamically. I mean, some people are different compared to the way that they drive, so I can't really tell on that point of view what they would do, but it's very limited stuff that you can set on this car compared to like aerodynamics and stuff like that.
Yeah. Well, I know no tape can be adjusted on here at all, not like the Gen 6 cars, but I would question, you get a little right front damage, if you're having trouble turning the car, could a quick fix be something like airing up one side of the tires to try to see if you can help you hook the turn again? I mean, I also think, if the bumper starts getting smashed to pieces a little bit, leading the race is probably not going to be for you. You're going to go out front. You're no longer shaped like a bullet. You're shaped more like a brick wall, and as soon as you hit that air in the front, it's going to be like you stomped on the brakes. So it may be a lead follow, and just hope for a top 10 at that point. More pack racing, allowing it to hit the roof and the spoiler. If that's not damaged during this race, where some of these guys are getting hammered to pieces, that could also be an option for some of the drivers, is just trying to lessen the damage that has occurred. So let's take a look here. Douglas, we got Jacob Reeves and Tyler Millette here, front row. Right now, this is a little bit like what I remember of last year. Jacob Reeves in the front. Where I'm missing is Kevin Powell in the 93 Chevrolet, who did steal that win away. He's going to hate that I said steal the win away. It was a nasty last lap pass during the dog leg. It was definitely a kind of an interesting sweep there that Jacob Reeves wasn't able to hold on to, but he is trying to reprise his role here into the front and actually redeem himself to get a win here. But Jacob, Jacob has plenty of chances here, but green flag is out. Look at that jump on the outside. Boy, if he doesn't get black flag for that, that would be impressive. Fortunately, hopefully either Chase Harden as well did not pass, did not change lanes before the line either. That would be really, really heartbreaking, but I think we're back under caution.
Yes, we are, and trying to get to the source of the incident now.
See, Daniel Wilkerson's fallen all the way down to 30th. And saying Mike Samia had some trouble. I think Mike Samia is taking it back to the garage now. Something blew apart on him. All right, Daniel Wilkerson, what happened? Does he run into a problem? Well, we're already under caution. Mike Samia pulls off the track, and I think he disconnects after that. Did you see anything out there?
Not that from what I'm seeing on my replay, I don't really see anything.
All right, well, let's see if we can grab one of our guys, and hopefully he won't have too much of a problem with this. Let's see. Kevin Powell, you got a copy?
Yes, sir, I do.
Hey, buddy, can you talk me a little bit through this caution here?
Yeah, it was a mistake on the admin's fault. Some guys got some black flags for passing under yellow because everybody was just all over the place and kind of hit the wrong button and threw the lights on. You know what I mean? It happens sometimes in this type of situation. So this one's on us, so we're going to shorten the pace laps by 1 or 2, and we're going to get back rolling here.
Okay, so what you guys needed to do is extend it by 1 lap to get everybody shuffled back in. Okay.
Yeah, yes, sir.
All righty. Appreciate it, Kevin. We were sitting there scratching our heads going, hey, man, anybody see anything here? All right,
yeah,
man,
if anything, it gave some people some more time to plan their strategy. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. And you are kind of tumbling around here. About mid-pack. You're really in the danger area. What happens now? How do we get ourselves, in that comfortable top 5 position that you had last season?
Well, I was up in the top 8, and Mr. Bill Gentry, I think he missed a shift, and it shuffled us back to 14th. So I got the car to come to the front, and I'm gonna try to come to the front as fast as possible, but it's nervousness.
Yeah. All right, man. Well, good luck to you, and we'll hopefully we'll see you charge back to the front.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Yep. All right, everybody. That's Kevin Powell. Definitely want to try to grab an admin occasionally, when things like this happen. And rather than us sitting here looking like dopes going, I don't know what happened. We know now. But this front row of guys, are kind of, they've got to be pretty happy everything's going their way here so far. Yet to pit. Tyler Millette, Jacob Reeves, Gary Armijo, Justin McMahon, Chase Harden, Justin Barkley, Mike and Chris Leftwich, Bill Gentry, Richard Leclerc, and I believe one last driver. That being Kevin Powell, who's down to 13th. All these guys have not pit yet. Everybody else has been down a couple of times here.
Decisions.
Yeah, and I think we've got 2 drivers that have taken it back to the garage. Mike Samia and Ricky Williams, both Chevrolets, the 3 and the number 10. Stephen Buonamo trying to see if he can come back from this one. That 22 Toyota has been in nothing but trouble here tonight. And once again, you see a couple of drivers trying to mix it up here, working their way out of pit and getting lined back up. I'm sure these guys, I don't think they're built for driving around at 60, 70 miles an hour here. We kind of set the cars up around that 200 mark. Like to see them get going that fast, right?
Right.
All right, taking a look back out there in the chat. Chat actually a little bit quiet tonight. I see Neff Racing is here from the Graceland Shootout Series. Appreciate you guys joining us here tonight. I hear the schedule might be mixing it up again. Might be getting a little away from the short track and might be seeing them enter a track like this. I imagine the super late models, that might be pretty interesting, but it's a crapshoot. We'll see if that ends up happening. Let's go ahead and get this one back underway. Tyler Millette, Gary Armijo sitting 1 and 2. Take the green flag here inside line. That's going to drop Jacob Reeves down to 3rd. He's probably going to slice here on the inside, not waste any time, and get this one going. Come on, Eric, you can't hide forever. As we continue this one on, Justin McMahon and Chase Harden. They're still side by side. They finished that battle. Justin Barkley and Chris Leftwich, they finished that one. But I want to kind of stay back here in the back of the field where I know more trouble brews around that Gary Clune area. I know these guys are probably questioning their motives here of whether this was a good idea to hang out in the back. Douglas, it's paying off for some, but not for all.
Definitely not, and especially for some of the drivers that are trying to play the strategy game. I think or maybe it's even they're just trying to hang back because they're knowing it's way too early in the race. It may end up having another big one like we've seen for the first couple of times. So you never know. These guys could be playing the safe card, or it just might also be because they don't have enough draft. We never know. But in my honest opinion, I think they're playing the safe card.
All right, well, definitely a big-time separation. Once we get 15th on up, almost another second and a half before they reach them. And then from 12th on up, almost 2 seconds before they reach that pile. So whatever happened is a huge separation here. That is insane right now. I don't know. That's not what I was hoping for. I did like that pack racing, though. But we are seeing teams trying to bunch up here a little bit. And I do want to point out that Twisted Axle Racing Team, Kevin Thompson sitting 14th, Clune is 18th, and St. Coeur is 19th. If an accident does happen, the chances of wiping out the entire team are now very high. So, good call or bad call, kind of clumping everybody together.
Definitely, it's a good call on one end because you have all your teammates together. So if anything happens, if you lose like touch of the pack, you can at least keep your teammates, but that can only help you so much in some circumstance. And on the bad end, yes, you do lose touch with the other half of the field, and it's going to take you forever to get towards the front. But in some cases, it's good and bad.
Yeah, right now taking a look at Richard Leclerc there in the 117. He ended up with a huge burst of speed. Tried to shoot the gap, almost caused a little bit of trouble. And notice how everybody single-filed that one. They said, no, you better cut that out or we're going to end up in a bunch of trouble. Daniel Paulus. Oh, my gosh. Guess he didn't like that little bump there from the number 9. I think he's lined up as the 9D.
We got trouble here
on the outside.
Back.
What's that?
We got trouble here in the back.
Uh-oh. Looks like Leclerc is backwards. You know it would be a fantastic sponsor? A landscaping company. Somebody out here saying they're going to be fixing the field down here at Talladega. We've had at least 4 or 5 drivers slinging through at least some part of the grass here. But looks like Leclerc somehow got turned around in the midst of this one. Oh my gosh. I pull it back and there's already contact. What in the world happened here? Oh yeah, hold on just a second, ladies and gentlemen. We can figure out what in the world happened here. I'm not quite sure how that originally started and why. Remember I was saying Leclerc was trying to figure out how to shuffle his way back on into the field here after getting bumped out. 117 has absolutely no draft because he's lost the guys in front of him. With Daniel Paulus pulling out of the lane here, that's what that causes. 117, it's almost like it hits the brakes on him, and then he gets scooped on the inside. And I believe that is the 629 of Colt Curry?
I think that is who it is.
Yeah. Triple-digit numbers tonight are not having any luck. Colt Curry in some trouble now in the 629. We've seen Daniel Paulus in the 615 having trouble, and now the 117 of Richard Leclerc are around. Right now it looks like a couple of guys are trying to knock out a few of the Canadians, Richard Clerc and Andrew St. Cour, to be the only two out there. But that is going to really start hurting some feelings out there, eh? All right. Bad joke. All right. Continuing on here. Fourth caution here of the night. 18 laps into this one. Last season, I don't believe there was a single caution. And these guys, it was a pit strategy game. Just how they came. 4 drivers broke away. And I think I talked to Jacob about this last night. It was him, Hunter Simpson, Jonathan Jennings, and Kevin Powell. And they drove like 6 seconds away from the remainder of the field. And everybody else was kind of praying that maybe something might happen so they could catch up. And that was not the case. But right now, I've got to start questioning fuel mileage on some of these guys. I mean, so far, everybody 9th on up, or if you want to say from 1st down to 9th, have yet to pit during this race. If the cautions keep coming out here, fuel mileage will be plentiful, but I don't know how many guys may or may not be taking tires here. Hunter Simpson, Tim Henderson, and Michael Dow each spent at least a minute in their pit boxes last time they came down on lap 8. They are now in 10th, 11th, and 12th. So the shuffle of this field at this 2.5-mile track, this is very, very interesting. I think the only Alabama mile we're running here is pace time, but hopefully they'll be able to collect this back going here and get this underway. I want to see some pack racing, but if you are Tyler Millette, Gary Armijo, and Jacob Reeves, who broke away from the remainder of the field, this is really good. If you are in the back of the pack, you'll be able to have another chance and maybe a chip away to take away any of that lead that they were pushing in front.
Most definitely. I mean, a couple of these guys, like you said, from 1st on 9th, they're definitely playing some kind of strategies. Maybe it's because they're seeing that the cautions are coming out like crazy, so maybe they're just trying to possibly time it right to where they can come down pit road at the right time. But I also do want to go back because you mentioned about the tires and the fuel. I actually do want to mention it doesn't matter what series it is, whether if it's the Cups, the Xfinity, or the trucks, or anything else. Technically, when it comes to Talladega, you don't really need to take tires unless they have it set to like a certain tire wear. I don't really think tire wear is going to be the issue. It's going to be more of like the fuel strategy that you said is going to be the issue.
Yeah, drivers shifting back and forth here, trying to figure out really what that sweet spot is here, because they've got to figure out how to get this. Almost feel like you got to get this thing under control, but crazy turn of events. 15th through 19th has decided to come down pit. Clune, Atwood, Kevin Thompson, Adam Gardner, and Andrew St. Cour down pit road. Interesting enough to see these guys, kind of coming back down and revisiting this, pit road again. Scooby-Doo Machine 56 Toyota of Adam Gardner is going to work his way back out, starting in that 17th position. That's quick splash of fuel might pay off later on in the race, but they've been doing it a couple times here, maybe trying to get ahead of the curve. I can't say 100% if it's working or not.
I could tell you right now, it's a very, very smart strategy to come down and top off with fuel, especially with the mileage it is. It's a very smart strategy that they're doing on their part, so kudos for what they're doing.
Yeah, but I also want to kind of point out that, at Talladega, tires are almost a joke. You really don't need tires, unless you're, 120, 140 miles, or laps into this thing. Heck yeah, you throw on 4 tires and you go back out there, because really you only fall off, or the fall off from everybody else is matching yours. You're only going as fast as the guy in front of you. If you are out front with fresh tires, you're not going to pull away from the field. you need everybody else to, to help get rid of some of that, that downforce in the back and to help you continue moving fast. Now, maybe if you had 8 other guys, and they all took tires as well, but the slim to none. And right now, everybody who is yet to pit, they were pulling away from the field. So heat was finally getting in the tires, and they were able to pull away. But green flag is about to come out here. Douglas, take it away, man. Go in and show me what you got.
Sure thing. Thank you very much. Pace car is finally pulling into the pit lane. We're about to go green flag racing. We got Barney in the flag stand. It looks like waving his hand. So we got green flag action back here, and we are back underway. And it looks like everybody is wasting no time at all getting into the inside line. As we know, the inside line is right now paying dividends right now when it comes to this race. So it looks like the lone driver that's hung out on the outside now going into the inside was the 60 of Mike Leftwich. But it looks like Kevin Powell. He's trying to make something happen here on the outside, trying to get the number 7 spot. But it looks like right now the inside line is going to gain enough ground. And one thing you do not want to do is be the lone car that is on the outside line to get hung out to dry, because there's only one place you're going to go when you're alone, and that is towards the back.
Yeah, definitely don't want to march toward the back. So the 93 Tractor Supply Chevrolet, he's up 9 positions from where he originally started, but he's got to get more. I would question here, look at how the front clutch of cars have left the field. We now got almost packs of 5 here. Tyler Mollett, Reeves, Armijo, McMahon, Chris Leftwich, Mike Leftwich to round out the front chunk here. Then we rotate back almost a second and a half to Dominic Hughes, Kevin Powell, Bill Gentry, Hunter Simpson, and rounding it out with Tim Henderson. Now remember, Henderson started dead last in this race, now sitting 11th, up 22. Then we rotate farther back, another 2 seconds. Kevin Thompson, Nicholas Atwood, and the rest of company is sitting all behind them. So why is this happening? Why are these guys separating and kind of chunking apart here, and they aren't staying more as a pack? Is it setup? Is it, is it damage? Is it tire strategy? Is it fuel? Kind of, you have any insight on this one here, Douglas?
It actually could be a combination of all 3 things that you said, because a lot of the drivers could be having stuff played into this factor. I know that there was a couple of cars that got involved in a couple of racing incidents. Also, another issue that I'm seeing is that a lot of the people here in the back of the field looks like they're going side-by-side racing. That is one thing really you don't want to do when you're here in the back of the field, because if you go side-by-side, you're taking away that side draft and you're losing a whole bunch of speed when you're trying to gain momentum.
Interesting. I knew I raced Xfinity at one point back in the day. Side draft would actually work very well if you had guys that, had a decent head on their shoulders, weren't racing with a controller. You could race side by side, almost rub door to door or mirror to mirror. If you try to get a little technical, get that close. That 2 lanes, if they could snug down next to each other, really kind of tuck it in there, they would be able to actually take it and make a full wall where 2 guys would be able to push the 2 guys in the front and then be able to charge with 2 lanes. Now, with these next-gen cars, it seems not to be the case. The more side draft happens, seems to slow everybody down, and it just doesn't seem to kind of be working out for some of the drivers. As you kind of see that Monster Energy machine floating around in the back there of Chase Harden. You see him breaking it 3 wide here, and he's trying to full send it straight up the center. It might give Connor Darnell a push here to try to get this inside lane, if not just the outside lane, moving. He originally started on the outside, but he's not happy. You can tell he wants to put fresh air to the nose of that Toyota, but there's nowhere to go. He's blocked. He can't move. Gets a run. He gets jammed. He just has nothing left here, and he's trying to figure out how to fly up to the front without getting any sort of trouble. But the moves that are being made in front of him right now, I guarantee you, half that seat is where he doesn't want it to be.
And I can also tell you this, with the next gen cars compared to what we had with the Gen 6, I mean, the next gen car is used for, like, it's stepped up from what we had because it has a different front splitter, it has different aerodynamic vents that are on the hood, so the hot air ends up going out, and a redesigned side skirt. So all of these combined, all in which are designed to reduce an amount of side force in these cars. So it's a notable addition to the next gen cars is the rear diffuser. I mean, that could really affect the amount of air that are coming towards these cars.
Man, That's just kind of what we're seeing. So a couple of different things to look at, even this Colt Curry, Gary Clune area here where all these drivers are. About 8 seconds beyond that is then the backpack back here. Backpack, you like that? Frank Hughes, Duke Davis, Peyton Hardin, Richard Leclerc, all these guys have been in incidents and damage. So I don't know, once again, if that damage has taken any part of how they are in this back chunk. And really, what do? You're sitting here thinking, man, I want to battle back. I know my car was fast at the beginning of this race. How do they get back up front? Is your car too damaged? You unable to return? Which it looks like Daniel Wilkerson is way down on power here. The number 78 Chevrolet, he is rolling right now in 28th. I hate to see it here for Daniel Wilkerson, as his race has just been absolutely molested here at the end, as he's just unable to get out of any situation here tonight and getting butchered. But hopefully we'll see him return next week. You know where we are?
Where are we at?
Oh, man. Yeah, dude, we are actually next week off. Ha! Gotcha. All right.
Oh,
no,
yeah,
we moved
right.
we moved to Worldwide Technology Center, or Gateway, as they like to call it, July 13th. Everybody's going to enjoy that July 4th week, and I hope everyone out there is safe and they're able to enjoy it too. Right now, fortunately, this is iRacing. Everyone is safe out here, regardless of any kind of crashing back and forth. But out there, let's rejoin that chat. Chris Vickery, I see you. Eric, you're doing a great job out there. Prepping Michelle is rooting on. Chris Simon and Kevin Orlando from the Racing Revolution League saying lap 27, especially that Starry machine, was doing a great job last night. And he said there's some good-looking paints out here on the track. You are right. Definitely plenty of new drivers and other guys giving it their best. I would love to know what some of their painters are out here. Maybe they'll give a shout-out for some of them out here on the track. Racing Revolution does some great racing on Wednesday nights. If you guys want to see them, there may be a possibility. I've been trying to float a little bit of a carrot out on the end of a stick, trying to get these guys to come up here and give the Doghouse Racing League a chance and see if they'll race, because I think Doghouse, I'm trying to talk them into racing with the Racing Revolution League, get a little bit of a mix-up, but that is a fixed and an open league, and that is the big difference between these two leagues, is the great driving that each league has, just that open and closed setup, open and fixed setup, more or less, is more what you see here, as just so much more talent to set these cars up and time invested. It's very hard to take away from that. But Douglas, this is kind of big, getting a drive away here, really, for the top 6 drivers, as they've broken away by over 5 seconds now into the front. Jacob Reeves, which my wife out there is rooting on, following behind Tyler Mollett here. Gary Armijo in the number 20 machine. Justin McMahon sitting 4th. Chris and Mike Leftwich sitting in that 5 and 6 spot. And right now they got to be pretty happy with where they're sitting here, really, in the first half of this race.
Yes, most definitely. And Patrick, I can actually tell you, especially also to the folks at home, why the gap is getting bigger. And I've actually been watching both sets of packs and realizing one thing. Tyler Mollett, who is currently our leader, he is actually right now getting a big push by Jacob Reeves, who is currently in 2nd. So by Reeves giving Mollett that push, not only is he giving them momentum, but the cars in back of them are also getting a little momentum by picking up speed as well. Now, if we go back to farther in the field, we can see that Kevin Powell is leading that 2nd pack, and right behind him is the 34 of Bill Gentry. The only pattern that I'm noticing is that Mollett and Reeves are right now pulling away because they're getting the draft. Bill Gentry, he's not really getting as big of a draft on Kevin Powell than the other pack is. So I think if the 2nd pack wants to get moving, Bill Gentry's got to get hooked up to Kevin Powell, and they got to at least stay in some kind of draft. So the 2nd pack gets a little bit of momentum and speed.
Yeah, Bill Gentry hasn't raced around these guys a whole lot. What actually I've seen happen before is what they'll do is they'll check out. They'll move kind of the outside lane. And I guarantee it, Hunter Simpson would be a perfect pusher, that number 5 Chevrolet, sitting right behind him. If Hunter Simpson can get underneath the rear bumper there of Kevin Powell, they might be able to stop this losing laps here as they continue to shave off more and more and more time here. Right now they are losing almost a second a lap here as they go around. So right now they could really use some help, hopefully not in the form of a caution, to kind of clump them back together here and figure out what in the world's going on. I mean, I completely agree with you. That's exactly what Jacob Reeves is doing, is he's tucking that nose right underneath the rear end of the back of the car here for Tyler Mollett. I mean, he's just snugging it right in there. Check it right here as we get a quick little drive high side here of these two Chevrolets going at it, followed by the Toyota of Gary Armijo. And Armijo's doing the right thing as well. Armijo's not getting as close. Now, I used to be pretty aggressive. If I were sitting in that 20 car, I was pushing the 57 as well. If the middle car could have the stones to hold the wheel, you really, really launch, which you've seen before over at the Big Show when Roger Buff Racing showed up. Those guys, it was nose to tail 3 cars, and they drove off. I mean, there was no catching them. So it would be the trifecta, but really, it is so dangerous to do that. Nose to tail for 3, if not 4 cars, and really 1 or 2 is all you need.
Right, most definitely. And I actually had the opportunity to talk to Roger Buff, and he pretty much just explained to me that just drafting is all about practice. I mean, there's really nothing much to it. You just got to get the opportunity to get with teammates if you have them, and just get used to the bump draft. It's really not all that hard, like he says. It's just all about skill.
Yeah, I know Heath Rutherford and Landon Gentry. There were a couple of drivers. They know how to bump draft all day and night, doing that kind of maneuver. But it seems to be when they say the easiest way for these guys to draft and to be able to push, they said never let off the gas. Some guys, when they push, you let off the gas a little bit. He says, no. Don't hover your left foot over the brake. And what you actually do is you set your foot down on the brake a little bit if you need to back off. Never let off the gas, because letting off the gas is how you end up with that seesaw effect. You see how, like Jacob Reeves, notice how he is maintaining a certain distance here. I mean, these guys have broken away from what looks like Michael Giberson back there in the seventh position by almost 10 seconds. I mean, so right now they're at a comfortable lead. These guys will be entering pit road before they're leaving turn 4. So that's exactly what they want. They got this nice, comfortable lead, and really the battle for the win is going to be between this clutch of cars. But what I want to point out here a little bit is the number 60 of Mike Leftwich somehow got left out here. Mike Leftwich, he kind of got separated from the pack. He was there in the top, at least in the top 5, 6, or 7 there, but it looks like Mike Leftwich is out there hanging on to the number 27 of Christopher Simon. It looks like Catalina Salas out there is rooting on Chris Simon, who was, unfortunately, he was caught up in another issue back there on early. I mean, way early on lap 3, so he only got about 6 miles on the odometer of this car, and he ended up in some trouble in that number 27 Shoney's machine. But I give it to the 60 machine. He looks like he's trying to help pull along his teammate here and maybe keep him in contention for the lucky dog.
Most definitely. And as we're actually talking about that, it looks like we have things shaken up a little bit in the second part of the back pack, it looks like, as it looks like we got a new front runner of that second pack, which is Michael Giberson in the 194, and right behind him is Connor Darnell in the 90. So it looks like we have two different people here in this second pack, so we'll see how these two play out and maybe see if they can gain a little bit momentum.
Yeah, interesting to see. And remember, we were talking earlier about how Kevin Powell was kind of falling off a little bit. Powell's now dropped down to that 13th spot. I'm noticing these guys are starting to clump back together again. We were originally seeing, 4 packs. Now we're down to only 3. Frank Hughes, he's back here with the damage. Oh boy. Looks like pit road's starting to happen. Kevin Powell, Bill Gentry, and Hunter Simpson, they're working down. But Frank Hughes is back here running, I hate to call him, the damaged crew. These are the guys who ended up smashed to pieces and spending over a minute and a half in their pit box trying to piece their cars back together. But it looks like Kevin Thompson, Andrew St. Coeur, Gary Clune, that pit strategy that they've been working here tonight, seeing that they visited pit road about 6 times here tonight, is starting to pay off. They're staying up with these top clump of cars. They'll be able to continue on and be able to continue this run here. And really, I'm liking what I'm seeing. Right now, they've got about a second and a half between Tim Henderson and Nicholas Atwood. We can take a quick look out of the back there. That's the distance. It looks extremely far from here, but not really if you try to take it into perspective of this track. I mean, it's so much room, but at 200 miles an hour, one slip up, one wrong draft move here, and these guys could be wheeling back very, very quickly.
Yes, most definitely. And Patrick, I actually can tell you, I'm actually watching the distance because of that switch. It definitely looked like it is helping because that second pack's gap is shortening. They are catching them, and I think things are going to be playing out here in the next couple of laps because that gap is shortening.
All right, well, hopefully we'll see how that, hopefully we'll see it work out in a positive way. I'm interested to see that, what drivers came down to pit on lap 36. Gentry, Kevin Powell, and Hunter Simpson. Now, remember, they were in that clutch, and we were kind of hoping Gentry was going to push. Hunter Simpson would be sitting in that third spot, kind of in the hot seat there, trying to figure out where he was going to go. They came down pit, so they're actually going to be out there kind of by themselves, which is a kind of a gutsy call here. Notice how they're shuffling out. Remember what I was talking about doing that checkout move? They've gotten back in that 1, 2, 3 spot here, and that's exactly what we're seeing, is them trying to make sure they don't fall too far off pace. Everybody is going to have to pit again. They are just trying to pit a little early and see if they can make it all the way to the end on a little bit of on fuel and the tires that they have here.
Definitely, and it definitely is a strategy game on their end, so they might be trying to plan something towards the end of the race or trying to see if they can make it the rest of the way on fuel, but it's going to be very hard to tell. And it looks like that second pack is just about to catch them as they are there and they are coming. So this is probably going to be playing interesting game call this lap just to see what happens.
All right. Well, I also do want to give a little chat about Kevin Powell, Bill Gentry, and Hunter Simpson. Powell had a 14-second pit stall time. Gentry only had 9.6. Hunter Simpson had a 13.5. So I'm wondering if they made an adjustment that could change their race. Let's get up to Giberson here. Giberson starting to run down McMahon. McMahon in that 6th position, not too shabby here so far. Woo. Little slide out there. That's not going to be what the one to keep that draft going. And you wouldn't think it, a little move like that would be so critical. But here they come. Front leaders are coming down pit road, leaving Mike and Chris Leftwich out there. Giberson moves up to 3rd, and now the shuffle happens as we got guys sliding down pit road. Looks like Reeves might have had a little trouble there. Reeves dropped down at least 4th in the entering pit here. So a couple of drivers trying to take a little advantage of that entry there, but that's what we're seeing here. So tires, no tires, fuel, not fuel. If you were coming down pit, what's your call?
My call, I would personally take fuel only.
Yeah. To me, it'd be a fuel and go. There would be no tires. I would say if I am taking a full set of, a full tank of fuel, if I've run this thing out to the bottom, which is about 9 seconds to fill, you can throw on 1 set of tires. And that may only be lefts. You may risk another second only taking rights. I don't know. Like I said, I don't know how much tires would help, seeing that there are only 25 laps left to go. But Reeves running down McMahon. Duke Davis will be much farther ahead of them, about almost 5 seconds here, as the 85 and the 50 are trying to work it out. Duke Davis and Michael Dow. And right now, still in the lead, Mike and Chris Leftwich. And really interesting to see, because remember Chris Leftwich, he was a lap down here. These guys have yet to pit all race.
And right behind Mike Leftwich, it looks like it's Christopher Simon and Christopher Leftwich, and then right behind him is that second gaggle of cars that we were talking about of Michael Giberson, Connor Darnell, and Colt Curry. It looks like those guys are behind them. And we got more takers coming down pit road now. It looks like the Leftwiches are coming down pit road.
Yep, both Mike and Chris Leftwich working their way down pit road now, so that most of the Shoney's machines are going ahead and checking out, going ahead fuel only and go. That puts Michael Giberson. I haven't seen him out here on the track before. That number 24 machine now has the lead in front of Connor Darnell. Both these guys pit back on lap 4, so they got just enough fuel to squeak it out for a little bit longer. I would say some of the drivers that came down earlier than that, maybe, or later than that, maybe around that 6 mark where Kevin Thompson and Andrew St. Coeur came down, they may be working themselves back into the mix here. as these guys are going to have to start coming down pit. You know, they'll be nice and comfortable with a little bit of extra fuel, but man, how long do you hang out there, and how much longer do you consider, you know, this may be, you know, being a good or a bad idea out front?
I mean, to some of these guys who are playing the strategy, it could be a good idea because some of them could be banking on green, white checkers just in case that we need them. So it's best to have that extra fuel just in case that is to happen. But it's interesting on some of these calls.
All right, no caution since lap 17. Everything looking pretty solid here. Honestly, no big one here tonight. I'm enjoying seeing what I'm seeing now. Guys not mixing it up too bad here. I think everybody's just trying to survive toward the end. When probably about that 5-6 laps to go, that's where we're going to see the shuffling happen, and then the real guns come out with 2 to go. So we'll see how all this plays out. 23 laps to go, ladies and gentlemen. Hold on just a moment. We're going to cut to commercial. We'll be right back. The Doghouse Cup Series is proud to be sponsored by Shoney's. Shoney's is today's all-American kitchen. Open daily for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, Shoney's guests can count on quality, delicious food along with warm, friendly service. Stop by one of our West Virginia locations to try their freshly prepared legendary breakfast bar, and don't forget to take home a whole strawberry pie. Shoney's, delicious food and friendly service since 1947. Gentlemen, we are back. Appreciate you guys hanging out there for a shout out from our sponsors here at the Doghouse Racing League. Next Level Racing and the Shoney's, of course. Don't forget about them. They are definitely making me hungry here tonight. Appreciate you guys hanging out. It is 9 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, and we are watching the Simtrax Broadcasting 175 here at Talladega. 20 laps left to go here. Michael Giberson still in the lead there with Connor Darnell. Colt Curry sitting third, and Adam Gardner is fourth. Right now, for everybody in the top 5, at least 20 positions have been gained, except Colt Curry originally started in the top 10 in the 6th position, to be exact. Still hanging out front in the top 5 with his Toyota. But I'm sure these guys are going to have to pit very, very soon here, as we are about to find out whether it's going to be make or break for some of these drivers. Now, I would like to make a correction that some of the drivers who I said pit on lap 4, they pit actually on lap 18. It was 4 times that they had come down pit and definitely topped off a couple of times. Giberson was in his pit stall about a minute and a half with Connor Darnell as well. Colt Curry was down pit road for at least a minute, and all 3 drivers in the top 3 pit back on lap 18, so they have got the mark to beat here. And can they hold out as long as they can? Because looking to retain, to come back or retain his title, the 2 drivers I've been looking for, Jacob Reeves, now down here to the 11th position. Right now, that is huge. Unfortunately, this is going to be a very bad night for him if these guys do not pit in front of him. And boy, where in the world is Powell? Where's Kevin Powell at? I mean, he's got to figure out how to come back here, because this is not where he wants to be, back in that 20th position. This is definitely not going exactly the way he had, these drivers had hoped here, and it's a complete offset of what we saw from last season.
Most definitely, and I think it had to do with that strategy call, as Kevin Powell, I think, was one of the guys that was on that strategy call. So, and it also looks like a lot of a lot of that is he doesn't have a lot of cars around him that can help him really with the drafts. So it's pretty much just the whole entire draft issue, not having many cars. So it's definitely not what Kevin Powell is looking for when it comes to this moment, especially with this late in the race.
35-second gap between 9th place and 10th place. Justin McMahon trying to figure out what he can do to talk to his team here and say, guys, we have got to figure out how to find a jet booster here and get going. All these drivers from Justin McMahon on back have hit since on lap 40. Everybody in front has not. So I would most likely say the guys on 40 have enough fuel to make it to the end. To the guys on up, 9th on up, do they have enough fuel to make it? If Andrew St. Cour and company with the Twisted Axle Racing team that decided to pit on that lap, if they are able to make it to the end, it would be the call of the race, being able to flip the script here, pick up 20 positions and come out with a top 10. That would be absolutely fantastic, seeing as they originally checked out, sat in the back of the field to go ahead and watch the wrecks happen and kind of let everything unfold. Drivers who have taken it back to the garage here, Douglas: Eddie Rivers, Daniel Paulus, Mike Samia, and Ricky Williams. We got 4 drivers that, unfortunately, out of the 33 that started this race, have taken it back to the garage. Drivers that are laps down: Michael Dow, Duke Davis, Daniel Wilkerson, Stephen Buonamo are the other 4. Right now, I've got 25 drivers here on the lead lap, trying to see if they can survive the remainder of this race with only about 15 laps to go.
Yes, as of right now, and that front pack of cars is right now being consisted of the top 9. But I will go down your top 10 list of drivers that are currently running. So right now in that front patch, we got Michael Giberson, Connor Darnell, Colt Curry, Justin Barkley, Adam Gardner, Kevin Thompson, Andrew St. Cour, Nicholas Atwood, and Gary Clune. Those are the 9 drivers that right now that did not pit so far. Then Justin McMahon is right now rounding out our top 10. But of course, 10th on back is about 33 seconds back. So right now, it looks like it's just between the top 9 as of right now as we speak.
Yeah, half a second gain last lap, though, down to 32.5. What it would take for this top pack to kind of break away and actually start slowing down. Let's say the Twisted Axle Racing team here, Kevin Thompson, Andrew St. Cour, and Gary Clune break away and decide to take the outside line to make their run, get toward the front, and get themselves 1, 2, and 3. If they end up double wide, it could slow down this entire front pack here. But it's interesting to see, and I know you've raced pack racing. I've done it too. The discipline you have to not kick out. I mean, Adam Gardner right now in that 56 Toyota. Right now, that's kind of me. That's the sweet spot. He's in an okay spot. You start moving back here where Nicholas Atwood is sitting 8th. You want to poke out. I want to get up front. I hate sitting back here in that 8th position going, oh, maybe I'll get up there someday. Absolutely not, man. I want to get up there. I just don't want to lead, because the last lap pass is always what ruins everybody else's night.
Most definitely. I mean, it is definitely a chance that you got to take the step out, but you got to have one of 2 things. One, you either got to rely on enough teammates that you have around you, so if you have a chance, you can go with your teammates and make something happen. Or option number 2, which in some cases is probably in most cases when it comes to super speedway racing, you got to rely on other friends out there. You got to rely on your allies out on the track, who you can trust, who you can work with. So in the case of Andrew St. Cour and Kevin Thompson, if they were to step out, they got to try and find some friends out there, because as of right now, I think they're the only 2 that are teammates, and all these other cars that they're around right now are people that they never raced with.
Yeah, that is an excellent point. That's exactly what's happening. When you got drivers that have been working well together, Justin McMahon, Jacob Reeves, Tyler Millette sitting back there in that 10, 11, and 12 spot. We've cut it down to 29.5. Right now, they would have to pick up almost 2.5 seconds a lap to at least be competitive here to get up to the front, and then you still got maneuvers to make there on the final lap. So what happens, and kind of where's this seesaw back and forth? But I believe we got a couple of drivers coming down. Gardner, St. Cour, Kevin Thompson, Clune, and Nicholas Atwood working their way down pit now. That could be the call of the race. Remember, McMahon, he's kind of waiting his turn here. But that is them entering 3 here as we move our cameras back to the number 24 Chevrolet of Justin McMahon. Right now, they have got to have blazing times down pit lane. Most pit lane times are about that 36-second mark. They were only back by 29, so they may be flopping this field here. as McMahon flies on through Andrew St. Cour. There they go. Yuck.
So that should cycle Justin McMahon out to the lead.
Yeah, McMahon still charging down. Giberson, Darnell, Curry, and Barkley. They have been in the front the whole time. McMahon may take the lead here. As 1, 2, 3, and 4. There they go. They're now coming down pit lane now as they have noticed. That is not good. You know, most of these drivers having a hard time trying to see if they can make this race back up. But McMahon and Jacob Reeves doing a fantastic job. Just pit strategy, attack, do what you need to do, and make it happen. And that's exactly what happened here, and what's working with only 12 laps left to go here. McMahon will take the lead already, flop everybody, and move them into the front. So now go ahead, Douglas. Read me our top 10 now, buddy, because this is getting ready to shuffle up something fierce.
So the top 10 will be going as follows. Justin McMahon is currently our leader. Jacob Reeves will be second. Tyler Millette will be third. Chase Harden will be fourth, and Gary Armijo will be rounding out the top 5. Tim Henderson will be 6th. Colt Curry will be 7th. Connor Darnell will be 8th. Michael Giberson will be 9th. And rounding out the top 10 will be Justin Barkley. And I didn't like the sound of that. We might have trouble.
No, Andrew St. Cour. He had the huge run on the outside, going about 40 miles an hour faster than the beginning of the field here. Right now, he got cut off by somebody I think that was trying to cut in front of him there. He rear-ended him. He's going to have a little bit of damage to the front nose of his 12 Ford. And I think Adam Gardner, Peyton Harden, and Nicholas Atwood just got obliterated by kind of a really dumb move out there on the track. Holy cow. Whoa.
Oh my God, yeah. That was the 86 of Peyton Harden.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure what he was thinking here. Right now, we had our eyes there on Andrew St. Cour. Outside line for him here. And you can see how much faster he is. But I see it looks like the 5, boom, cuts in front of him here. Andrew St. Cour cuts off to the side. But a little bit of a delayed reaction there on the 5. And gets him spun around. I don't see, Hunter Simpson in the 5. Nope, that's not him either. Who in the world is that? I'm trying to figure out who Andrew St. Cour hit here. Yeah, because Colt Curry there. Man. Yeah, because this shot right here, Andrew St. Cour nails him here. Tries to get out of the way.
Yes, that would be the 86 of Peyton Harden.
Yeah, I think Adam Gardner gets the worst at here. Because now we're almost 4 wide and they're crunching each other up here right at the beginning. Oh, man. Yep, comes back and right into the door.
Oh, and then Nicholas Atwood, he just gets slammed right into that wall.
All right, we'll take another look here at Nicholas Atwood. Right in that pinch. Oh. About 160 miles an hour into that wall. I don't know if that 19 Chevrolet is going to take much of that. Yeah, that's not good. Looks like he had to tow. Holy cow. Yeah, Adam Gardner, he's down into the grass trying to piece that thing back together. Holy cow. I guarantee you, words are being said over the radio because that was a nasty move. I mean, we had guys that were over 30 seconds behind.
All right.
We had guys that were ahead by at least 6 seconds into the lead. This now puts everybody back together and back under green flag with either 6 or 7 laps to go.
I'm pretty sure that is not what Justin McMahon and company wanted to see.
No, not with an excellent strategy. I mean, it paid off. 110% it paid off. But that was huge in this race, and maybe we can find somebody to kind of have a conversation with, what now? You know, maybe we'll grab a hold of Tyler Millette. Tyler, you got a copy?
Sure do.
All right, man. Well, I know we don't talk to you a whole lot, but we're going to talk to you now, seeing that you are under caution. You guys definitely had the pit strategy here, breaking away. You made the pit stop at the right time. 40 on lap 40. A couple of you guys took some tires. Most of you just fuel and goes. This caution means what to you guys here with the Loud Pedal Racing team?
We definitely hated to see it because with the run we was having, we were probably going to be sitting good. We're hoping right now we can get a good start and repeat what we've been doing this entire race.
Yeah, trying to pull away. Douglas Ross here has been making a point that Jacob Reeves has been tucking the nose underneath of whoever he's been, he's been following. And you guys have been pushing. Fortunately, the guy whoever is sitting in third is not continuing to push as well, and the rest of the field is able to follow suit, as you guys pull away. I know you guys are looking to kind of mirror this, but we're talking you guys are going to have to make a breakaway in the next 4 to 5 laps and then try to take it out between you guys here at the end.
Yeah, I think if there's anybody that's capable of making the breakaway, we've got the guys to do it.
Yeah, well, I would probably question, and he is out there in the chat, and I want you to be nice. Jonathan Jennings is not here tonight. Would he be help, or would he be another one of your adversaries out here tonight?
A little bit of both. We're all friends till about the last 5 or 3 laps, but we definitely wish he was here with us tonight, so we're glad he's at least cheering us on.
Oh, yeah. All right. Well, Tyler Millette, good luck to you, man, and hopefully we see that 94 end up in a podium position tonight.
Sounds good. Appreciate you.
Yep. All right, everybody, that is Tyler Millette. While we have a little bit of a chance here, let's take a look at those championship points before the pace car ducks on off. Andrew St. Coeur might have another chance here. He's sitting down in 9th. He's got a battle in front as he only leads by a couple of points here, not too many, over top of Jonathan Jennings. Jennings needed to start in the park tonight. Kevin Thompson is 3rd. Crystal Simon's 4th. Kevin Powell 5th on this list. The only drivers to make it in the top 600 points. St. Coeur is going to break the 7, if not the 800 later on here tonight. With hopefully a solid finish, but with everybody clumped back together, more problems can happen. As our top 20 in the points, let's go ahead and get this one back underway. Pace car lights are off, and remember that long drive down to that Geico restart zone before they can get going. Not that one. Here it comes right around the corner here. Justin McMahon and Jacob Reeves side by side. McMahon decides to take the top. Reeves into 2nd, and away we go here, Douglas. And this is looking pretty solid here for a great restart here from the front 3.
It's definitely a good restart, and it looks like Justin McMahon is wasting no time at all, getting right in front of Jacob Reeves to regain the #1 spot. And it looks like a couple of guys were trying to make something work on the outside. And it looks like that is Chase Harden and Tim Henderson, which I do got to give a shout out to Tim Henderson, doing a very good job right now. Not normally we see him up front, so great job for him tonight. It looks like trying to regain some ground also is the 21 of Kevin Thompson, and it looks like he now broke into the top 5.
Yeah, fortunately, rounding out the back end of that field was Andrew St. Coeur. Outside line kind of fell apart there and failed, which now has allowed Connor Darnell to catch back up there with Colt Curry to see if they can continue battling along with these guys here in the front. It looked like that center section was getting ready to break off and fall toward the back. But they, a couple shuffle-ups in front of them, and now they are right back in the chase again. So we are single file all the way back here, except the Connor Darnell, Tim Henderson area, where Tim Henderson's caught on the outside. Here we go. A little bit of bumping and banging there, a little farther back in the pack. Where are they going to go? Right now, that is Kevin Powell, you see, not real happy with the pushing moves he is seeing so far. He's going to try to see if he can take this ride along with Gary Clune's back bumper, but it looks like Clune just too far away, and now that is going to cost him. Powell down to 15th here, and right now, when we were talking about that points chase earlier, this is huge. He's got to have a solid finish here tonight.
Most definitely, and it looks like Justin McMahon is probably liking what he's seeing right now as he's still holding on that #1 spot. And I can tell you right now, we are on lap 62. We got 4 laps to go. I think it's at the point now where if you want to make something happen, it's got to be now.
Yeah, right now already Sean Thompson out there saying, Kevin Thompson, time to shake and bake. Right now he's sitting 5th in that 21 Ford, first Ford to lead this pack into the front. Right now he is surrounded by Toyotas and Chevys all around. The only person in company in a Ford is Gary Clune and Andrew St. Cour, which right now, something happens, the entire team's going to be wiped. So we are looking at 7, 8, and 9 of the Twisted Axle Racing team sitting there. Fortunately, all of them top 10 here, but this outside line is holding on. I mean, they're digging deep right now, trying to make something happen. 4 wide heading across the line. This is looking pretty not too good as we are heading in. 3 wide now. The number 20 bumped out of the lead, or out of the top 3. Gary Armijo now falling all the way back. Armijo's got to have a tight grip on the wheel now because he doesn't want to get shuffled through. Lapped car. Now guys are bouncing off the wall. Armijo caught into it. Boom. Hard hit into the wall. Armijo's night's going to be done. The 93 machine of Kevin Powell was caught in this one too. Holy cow.
There was definitely a lot of drivers trying to go for it, but it looks like some of them just had no room, as we were seeing 4 wide for a little bit. And I think Gary Armijo was trying to make something happen, but I think with the outside line having the momentum it wasn't going the way he planned.
Yeah, well, definitely some bumping and banging up here. It looks like the 11 gets into the back of the 89. The 40's trying, the 89's pushing the 40 here. Number 11 machine, I think that's Clune. Gary Clune kind of gets hammered here by the 629. Now, I give it to Clune for holding on because it was a squeeze. He had nowhere to go. The 629 kept pushing. He ricocheted off the wall. Oh, man. Did the 24 rear end the 9? I think the 9 might have let off the gas. Remember I was talking about that left foot on the brake? This is probably why. 9's trying to avoid this wreck here. 24 pops him here. Oh. And Powell.
Yeah, the 9 car had to check up because the 629, he thought the 629 was going to wreck. So the 9 car got checked up. And the 24 looks like he got into him from the checkup from him. It was just a freight train that happened on the outside just by that one car getting loose.
Yeah. Kevin Powell got absolutely obliterated on this one. Let's take a look as he kind of flies through the air. He does come airborne here. And that is not good. You see the damage ready off the ground. Man. What a hit. Kevin Powell. Man.
That was a hit.
Yeah, that machine is done for here tonight. I always try to make sure if anybody ends up in the medical center, if they're going to be able to retain or maintain any kind of composure, because when you were this close to the end and then wrecked out, and even the one where you raced and won, you know, when you get to the end here and you get wrecked out, it takes all that battling you did before and erase it. You know, there's no coming back. Right now, he needed a fantastic finish here tonight. He was lining himself up. You saw he was in the back of the kind of slow pack there, but he still had an opportunity. And that's going to knock Kevin Powell all the way down to the 24th position. Fortunately, Daniel Wilkerson, he'll be able to, if he can finish this race, he'll slide by both those drivers. And I believe he might finish about 23rd in this race. But, man, that's why you keep racing. You know what I mean? You don't quit when you're damaged and you're down. Because every position counts.
Most definitely. Every position is going to count for at least this time. And just seeing the cars now that we have in this top 10, things are going to get really interesting.
Yeah. A start and park for some of these drivers does mean you qualify and you at least get last place points. When you end up starting parking on a one this large, that means you end up taking a 34th place finish. Which are slim to none. I think you'd be able to count more points on your fingers than you would on the scoreboard here. But that is going to be very detrimental for some of these guys trying to battle it back toward the front. Justin McMahon still in the front of this one. That number 24 machine doing a great job here. Right now we are looking at 3 Chevrolets leading this race. The 24 of Justin McMahon, number 57 of Jacob Reeves, and the number 94 here of Tyler Mollett, followed by 2 Fords of Kevin Thompson and Andrew St. Cour, 4 and 5. Right now, Clune with the Twist Axle Racing team sitting down there in 9th. And so far, we are being led by the Loud Pedal Racing team you know, doing up front in the Elite Southern Motorsports Racing team. These two guys kind of clumped together, really just working in absolute harmony around this entire track all night. Right now, this is going to be our first green-white checkered here, and let's kind of see how this boils down. Now, Douglas, you were starting anywhere here on this track. You know, really, where's the spot you want to be?
Well, definitely, and I got to give credit to Justin McMahon for taking the outside line, but definitely, if I was leading this race, I think I would want the inside line for the most part, but the outside line can really get a good momentum depending on the guys. The only thing I could say is I don't think I'd want to be Justin McMahon because I have a feeling he's going to be a sitting duck. The only thing that I can say is I hope he has plenty of friends out there that would be willing to help him out.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more there. I think that's kind of what you're seeing here. These guys have just got to, they've got to calm down. Right now, the blood pressure's got to be up. You know, their eyes are bugging out of their helmets right now because they've got to figure out another way clumping these guys back together to do it again. I mean, you remember how we were seeing the trouble originally started around that 4089 area, the 11 and the 629. They're now going to be outside row here, really, really close to the front. So some of these guys who are here in the back, I mean, Chris Leftwich, I hate to, you know, kind of point him out, but he's back here in that 17th spot, down 10 from where he originally started. You know, he's going to want to get a solid finish here. He's got to get up to the front, at least try to aim for a top 10, but a last lap, you know, white flag wrecks. We've seen them before. We've seen 100 of them. There's still that possibility. Right now, your wits have got to be about you. Your endurance is getting ready to pay off because how you're going to keep your focus and get through one last wreck could make or break the race. And right now, you see a little lapse and some judgment here later on in this entire race. You see has changed everything. So McMahon and Reeves here in the front, Kevin Thompson and Tyler Mollett starting in the second row. And Douglas, you know, man, we're getting ready to take it away here. Go ahead and take it away, my man.
All right, thank you, Patrick. Pace car will be pulling off into the pit lane, and we got Barney waiting to get the flag going. Here they come off the front straightaway. Looks like green flag will be in the air, and it looks like a good start by Justin McMahon as he ended up getting a good start right off of that outside line, and following suit right behind him is Kevin Thompson. Now, staying hooked into the inside, back in third, we have Jacob Reeves, who is currently running third. McMahon cuts right in front of Reeves. Reeves still with the momentum, gives a little bit of a hit. Right now, Jacob Reeves will now try to gain the number 2 spot, and it looks like Kevin Thompson will be held outside to dry, and that is not going to be good for him, because now here comes Tyler Mollett and Dominic Hughes with the run.
St. Coeur was in a good spot inside in the middle lane for him, but he is in a boatload of trouble because Kevin Thompson is being shoved by the number 40 of Chase Harden. Right now, outside line kind of falling apart here, but we saw Jacob Reeves as they were entering turn 3 and 4, a huge shove as Jacob Reeves ended up with a massive run. All top 5 cars led by Chevrolets here, Andrew St. Coeur and Kevin Thompson, and the white flag is out. Douglas, this means that anything can happen. Outside line, right now it looks like St. Coeur deciding to check out and help Kevin Thompson here. Gutsy move. I don't know if this would be exactly what I would call a great attack here, but the 21 machine is not letting off. He is giving a shove here to the number 12. 12 picking up pace here. This actually might work. Looking pretty solid here. Look at the speed they're entering turn 3. Andrew St. Coeur not happy about Tim Henderson blocking him now, and he's making him move. Now guys are mashed together. We've got at least 10 cars nose to tail here. Turned around goes Dominic Hughes. Around he goes. St. Coeur is now wrecked. Jacob Reeves running to the line yet again with Justin McMahon. Now we're going to run. Dooring him right at the line. Who wins it? McMahon gets him right at the line. And Jacob Reeves misses the boat. Look at the timing.
Talking about 6 1/1000ths of a second.
Holy cow. I want to take an overhead look at this stack up here between 3 and 4. This was fantastic. I gotta admit, St. Coeur looks like a pinball out here. He's trying to push Tim Henderson. He's not happy, and no matter where St. Coeur goes, Henderson keeps getting caught. Holy cow. And then we'll stay here with the leaders and watch this finish. Right there. Man, so close. So close, but no cigar. Holy cow, that was close.
Definitely another close finish that we have witnessed here.
And you gotta be wondering, taking a look here at Jacob Reeves and in this setting right here. That is now the second time that he's been the fastest at the track. Did a fantastic job slicing and dicing, moving around here on the track and missing it by a fender. I mean, so close. How in the world did they miss that? And I just don't know. Dang, that was so close.
It was really close.
All right. Well, after all that wrecking, it looks like Mike Leftwich actually ended up in that third position. Not too bad, especially after how his night went here tonight. Let's take a look. McMahon, Reeves, and Mike, and Chris Leftwich. Wow.
Definitely a lot of names in here that we didn't expect to be in the top 10, even yet in the top 5.
Chris Leftwich was a lap down.
Really?
Yeah. The caution brought him back on the lead lap, and he finished 4th.
Oh, good rebound.
No, Chris Leftwich was all the way back. Christopher Simon was the one that was lapped down. He finished 12th.
Still good rebound.
Wow, yeah, no kidding. Talk about an awesome job here. Jonathan Jennings, yeah, talk about some wild stuff here, man, especially with the new drivers out here and Justin McMahon coming away with a win. What an excellent job here by Justin McMahon, squeezing out and getting away from this one. If I am not mistaken, yes, this will be his first win of this season. Finally, long time coming. But, guys, hold on just a moment. We're going to try to run down our finishers here. And, boy, I'm sure we're going to get an earful from Jacob Reeves here.
Oh, yeah.
All right, everybody, and we are back. We're actually going to be starting with our second place finisher here, Jacob Reeves. Second place, man. You know what? Douglas, you take this one.
Well, thank you, Patrick. Jacob, I can only imagine what you're thinking right now, finishing in second, missing it by a fender. So tell us, a good rebound overall. I mean, you got second place tonight. I mean, tell us, how did the race go for you overall?
Well, I mean, it went real good for me. Douglas, I mean, we was able to get a little bit. I mean, we honestly thought we was going to be a little bit better in qualifying, but we ran the same package that we had the last time that we came here to Talladega and was very successful, finishing top 4 with it. So we had a feeling that we was going to be we had a lot of confidence in the car that we had. But, I was wanting to just stay at the front because usually I'm one of those guys wanting to just ride the back and not get caught up in the wrecks. And then as the wrecks was happening over and over and over again, I basically said, you know what, screw this. I'm going to stay at the front as much as I can. And, you know, we got locked up right there. Me and Hunter and Tyler was catching the 9 cars that was in front of us, which we knew they had to pit, but we were catching them half a second to a second a lap. So we knew we had something going. But I mean, that finish right there, I mean, that's, man, that honestly, I mean, that's why we get on here and that's why we race. I mean, I know it sucks to be 6 thousandths of a second from winning here at Talladega, because I've had so many good memories here with my dad. And but you know, hey, I mean, we'll take a second place finish. You know, that close. You know, it would be heartbreaking, but we'll take that right there all day long. It's good points day for us too. With Jonathan not being able to race tonight. I think Sancour and some of them might have got caught up in that last wreck. So I think we might have actually gained a lot of points tonight. And that was the goal coming in there tonight, was get the points.
Most definitely, and it definitely was a good points night for you. Now, I also do want to ask you, we also know that there was a good group of cars that were on a strategy call. I mean, there was also there was the whole field pretty much was on a different strategy call somehow. So I got to ask you, what was your strategy throughout the entire race?
I mean, just to line up with my teammates. You know, we had the goal of you know, regardless of what was going on, we wanted to try to stay together the best that we could. And we had a goal that we knew that it was going to be a one-stop race. And obviously here at Talladega, you know, tires is not. I mean, you don't really need to take tires here, so we didn't. I mean, pit crew basically, all we needed was a gas man tonight. So. But yeah, I mean, we knew it was going to be a one-stop race, so we wanted to, I guess you could say, kind of short pitted. I guess you could say Kevin and them was in a different pack, and they went in and short pitted as well to see if they could try to gain some ground on us. But you know, me, Justin, Tyler, all of us was like, yeah, we're just going to go ahead and short pit it right here and see what happens. You know, got to give a shout out to Tyler. For sticking with us, and a good shout out to Justin. I know I might be getting a little ahead of myself, but I mean, that was just our goal right there, is to stay together. And you know, we just wanted to make sure that we had enough gas to get it to the end.
It definitely looked like the strategy did play for you as you did get a second place tonight. I know you mentioned a couple of shout outs. If you got any other shout outs that you want to give out, please give them out.
Well, I mean, first and foremost, I mean, my family. I mean, you know, I got a lot of great sponsors on this car that, you know, have helped me along the way with what I've got going on here on iRacing. But I got to give a shout out to my wife and my dad. I know they're watching. I know they were jumping up and down, probably wanting me to, you know, throw Justin up in the fence to win it, but that ain't how I race and everything. But I mean, just big shout out to my family. You know, good Lord up above for all that He does, or that He's given me, and given me the talent and the funding to be able to do this. Obviously, the sponsors on the car: McConey Entertainment, McConey Setup Shop, Nazareth 360 Broadcast, Simtrax Broadcasting. I'm sponsored by them. Announcing with Patrick on Wednesday nights. I got a little sticker that I've been running. I haven't actually, you know, I don't know if anybody's ever seen it, but I got a little white sticker on the bottom. That's for my 2 little angels up in heaven. So, you know, shout out to my kids up in heaven. But they saw a good race, and they saw Daddy try to give it his all tonight.
Definitely gave it your all tonight, most definitely. And ladies and gentlemen, that is Jacob Reeves, your second place finisher. And now I will take it back up to Patrick, and I'm pretty sure he's standing by with our next place finisher.
All right, congratulations, Jacob. We'll catch you here pretty soon, my man.
All right, appreciate it, Patrick.
Yep. All righty, let's move to our third place finisher. Finally got a hold of him, Mike Leftwich, in the number 60 machine. What a wild finish this was. Talk to me about kind of the different strategy you had for for actually this entire race here, man.
I saved a little bit of gas, but I wanted to qualify the best I could so I wouldn't be back in traffic. I'm glad I wasn't back there. There was a lot of stuff that went on, and I stayed clean and just bided my time.
I remember earlier, kind of earlier in the run, you actually popped out of line, I believe, to help Christopher Simon in the number 27. to try to see if you could help tote him along. I think he was a lap down. Kind of what was the strategy on that? I was a little kind of beside myself as what you were doing out there.
I knew there was going to be another caution or whatever. When I seen him go up high, he says, I'm not fast enough, so I just slowed down and picked him up. And actually, we drove right back to the leaders. It took us about 12 laps, but we got right back to the leaders.
Oh, yeah. Well, definitely wanted to keep him in that lucky dog position to see if he can, come back up and grab a hold of a little more there. Definitely a tough night here for the Shoney's team, seeing that I believe, Christopher Simon, he did end up in that 12th position. And I think actually Mike Samia, he got blasted out back on right before lap 11. Ended up 32nd tonight. But other than that, not too bad with a third, fourth from your team. Heading in, with an off week, and now we move to Gateway. Confidence level heading there after your third place finish here tonight.
Average. I'm not too good on that track, but I'm a practice and practice. That's all I can do.
All righty. Well, go ahead and give me your shout-outs there. I see Shoney's is on the car. I know that's got to be one of them.
Yep, Shoney's sponsors the race and our cars. I appreciate that, West Virginia Shoney's. And Daniel for putting this on. I think I'm going to send him some nerve pills because I think he needs some. Other than that, I just kept my nose clean and I just kept shooting for where they were going. I was aiming for them. By the time they got there, I was gone.
All righty, man. Congratulations on your third place finish. Hopefully we'll see you more in the podium, man.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Thanks for your time.
Yep, no problem. All righty, that is Mike Leftwich in the number 60 machine, moving us on to Justin McMahon, the winner of the Simtrax Broadcasting 175, only by 6 thousandths of a second here. Man, talk to me this entire race. You started outside the top 10. You battled your way up. Talk to me kind of, mindset of how we got through all the way to the end here.
Avoided the storm, I guess, more or less is the better way to put it. Got ourselves in a position to be in front of that stuff, before all those wrecks and stuff happened. So, track position was definitely key. That was the biggest thing, and trying to stay out front.
But you started in the hot seat. You were outside the top 10, man. And really, I was even telling Douglas here, you're kind of that 12th position on down.
Yeah.
You're in a bad spot. So you fighting up forward very quickly. I think you hadn't made it half a lap and you'd moved up 3 positions. I knew, qualifying was pretty bad for you, but the race was going to go very well.
Yeah, it was. You're in that position to where, you're in the middle of the field almost, and you're wondering whether or not you should race to get to the front to try to stay out front, or take that first lap and kind of bail out and hang in the back and wait for the field to cycle themselves out and take themselves out of the race. But I haven't been able to race a whole lot this season, so I figured I'd try to go for broke and try to get up front and try to stay up front as much as possible.
Jeez, and come away with a win. Can you believe that? All right, so your entire team kind of had the same strategy of pit time, and how it worked out here toward the end. But I want your thought process exiting turn 4 last lap here and into the dog leg.
I didn't think I was gonna win it, honestly. The worst thing you can do is be leading coming to the white flag at Daytona or Talladega, right? So I kind of knew. I mean, I was doing a lot of mirror driving more than I was looking out the windshield of the car. I saw, once we came out of turn 2, I saw I think it was the 89 and the 4 just dove out to get that. They had a huge run coming up on Tyler there, so they moved out. And I thought, looking in my mirror, that I had a little bit too much of a gap between me and Jake behind me. I didn't think we had the momentum. So me thinking, I'm trying to take the win, so I was kind of thinking I needed to go up and block that run that they got, and I did, and I went up a little bit too high in the 89, ended up diving down to the inside, and I thought my night was over. But the 4 somehow managed to stay behind me. I think he got a big push from someone behind him, and it kind of kept me there with the 89 and Jake there, and it worked out. I don't know what happened to the 89. I don't know if the 89 came up a little bit and Jake was just getting a huge run and couldn't back out of it in time and caught him and turned him or what. But I thought I was going to be able to clear him before I got to the tri-oval, and I couldn't quite clear him, and I knew that it was going to be Days of Thunder coming to the line, so we were kind of dooring each other going down through there. It was a lot of fun. I would have been okay with a second place finish tonight, to be honest, but glad we were able to take home the win for Loud Pedal.
Well, Jacob has been stolen of this Talladega win 2 seasons in a row. I can assure you, if this goes on to another season, the dooring that you saw, I think, might be a little more forceful, and he'll send you into the concrete, man. He doesn't care. He can't lose 3 times. This second time is definitely a dagger, man. That's got to hurt. But it ends up being your first win of the season. We have an off week next week. I know you said you aren't able to make a whole lot of races. Any that you can say you might make?
At this point, I'm not certain. It all depends on weather back here at home. It's golf season, so Thursday nights are kind of taken. If I can get home in time, then I'll be able to hop on. Plus, I've also got a child that's due in any day now, so that's going to take up some time myself. We'll see. I'll hopefully be able to hop on a lot more. I like racing the Next Gen Cup with these guys here, so hopefully I can make some more in the future here.
All right, man. I was going to say, I'm fairly certain I remember talking to you last season. That's what you were saying, is your wife is getting ready to pop. She sounds like she's
there.
She sounds like Joe's wife in Family Guy. It just never happens. All right, Justin, man, give me your shout-outs here.
Group 6 for the sponsor on the car. My buddy Nate that owns Group 6 Interactive, he was actually watching tonight, so big shout-out to him for helping support the sponsor and for watching, and Daniel for putting on a hell of a league, and you guys for doing the broadcast. You guys do a great job.
Appreciate it, man, and hopefully we'll see you fairly soon. Definitely like seeing that number 24 out here racing. Good luck.
Hell yeah, thank you, appreciate it.
Yep. All righty, Douglas, that's going to do it. Quick little fun fact: the top 8 cars that finished tonight were all Chevrolets. Think that's a little weird? Maybe. Might be a little superstition, but we are going to be off for next week. And next time we will see you guys for the Doghouse Racing League will be July 13th. We'll be at Gateway, 120 laps for that one. I'll be pretty excited to bring you guys that at Gateway for the Worldwide Technology Raceway. That's going to be a blast having those guys battling back and forth with all those all these guys. I would love to see that many cars turn out, 33 people turn out for that sort of race. But Douglas, final thoughts?
Just a really wild race, and just can't wait for the next one. And happy 4th of July to everybody.
Oh, yeah. I got to admit, I like that the very late caution. I think it made it for a nail biter at the end rather than it just kind of being an oh well there toward the end. But alrighty, everybody, thank you from SimTrack Broadcast, and we'll catch all you guys on July 13th. So be well, be safe, be kind, and I'll see all you guys next time.